It is LoueMT versus B, seed number 6 versus seed number 3. The winner of this set is pretty much guaranteed a ticket into the EGC finals as well later this year, as we head into Tempe with B playing as the orange and Louis playing as the Roos.
Now the question on everyone's mind is how much boon tier they're going to get. That's what I want to know. Who will get more? And also, are they going to potentially rush a knight just so they can go around and kill boars? And it might sound funny, but having 4 boars in the map, you can get 300 gold just for killing them, which is quite a bit. And if you do some micro, having 1 or 2 knights can help you secure that pretty easily. And we do see double Golden Gate coming out.
Indeed, double Golden Gate on the way. B opts to go for Stone. We've seen that in the previous set from Mista. No stone being mined so far by Louis, but he's shifting villagers towards that as well. Now, looking at this map, how do we feel about the boars, Beasty? One thing that I'm noticing is that we have this lovely spot to the north of B's base where you have a lot of deer carcasses plus a boar as well. You don't really find any of that for Louis.
Yeah, so B has that spawn where you can put 1 TC and kind of secure double deer and boar, which is pretty disgusting spawn. But on the other side, B's second boar is actually the one on the middle of the map. So, you know, it's kind of like a trade-off. I think in every map you got to find that kind of middle ground. So B will have a lot safer first down center, but if he does want to get that second boar, I mean, it's basically at Louis' deer, right? At Louis' first deer pack. So that's something that's going to be pretty hard for him to secure unless he has like a full map control.
That's a great point. There is a very safe boar for Louis to take to the north, and it looks like B was just super heavy on the stone here. He is going to buy the final bit of stone he needs for that town center with the Golden Gate. And on the other side, looks like Louis might just mine the whole thing.
Yeah, Louis, I think, is going for double TC. And, I mean, you can see he has 850 wood, and I kind of like that, right? He's scouting, right? But you're also expecting your opponent to go for 2 TC, so why not just, especially with this amount of workers in economy, why not just go for double immediately? One-upping your opponent with a town center puts them in an uncomfortable position where they have to do something. And I actually love this first TC because he will go for the boar. And again, guys, this boar is not Louis' boar. This is B's boar, which is 2,000 more food on Louis' side of the map. But not only that, it's the gathering speed that's very good and very strong. So I think he's going to be very happy with that.
Yeah, he certainly will. And you see, he's got enough resources for a third town center.
B is about to be spicy in the middle, I think. Louis needs to pull that boar immediately because I think that's where B's workers are going. Yep.
Yeah. I have to agree. I think he spotted the TC through the stealth forest. It's a little difficult to see, and indeed, he's pulling this all the way out. Oh, this is just so bad for Louis now. He's going to lose out on this boar, and indeed, he's going to just take it out here. It's going to be impossible for Louis to take this boar now.
Yeah, I mean, a good reaction from B. Obviously, like recognizing, obviously that's why he's going for TC there, right? He wanted to take the boar. So recognizing that immediately pulls the board, denies it, gets it for himself. And, you might think like, oh, that's kind of exposed because it's in the middle of the map. But at this point, no one has any units. And even if Louis makes some units, by the time he actually has enough to do anything, that board will be pretty much depleted. So, it's not that big of an issue. And now we see B, who I am not sure if he scouted that Louis is on double TC, because the way that B's positioning is knight, you would usually he has no idea, actually. He's about to see that stone being mined quite a bit. So he just found out there's a second town center that was built already, or third, I guess. So he will try to find where it is. And it looks like he's moving to that boar in the back, but the TC is not there. It's actually on the deer pack.
Yeah, it could be painful for Louis to have those boars on both sides killed. He definitely wants that boar in the future, at least to the south. And, oh, look at this. Never mind. There's something cheeky coming up here. B is going to wall off that little passage between the cliff and the edge of the map with double layers. And that would make it so much more difficult for Louis to access not only this boar, but a lot of valuable gold and stone.
And this is what you get when, you know, you have less DCs but more map control. You can do stuff like this, and compared to standard AoE, this is not that big of an investment. You know, usually it's like, oh, you can't spend that much wood on you know, that like double walling like that super early, but because you have so much income here, that is completely okay to do. And Louis just lost one of the scouts, and I don't think he will ever even notice the fact that he is being walled on the left side.
And he's just busy dealing with these knights here, and he's got no scouts spotting that walling attempt to the left. Louis also feels like he's a little paranoid in many ways, dropping a wooden fortress on the gold mine. He did that with the front DC as well. Definitely feels like he's a little afraid of a push here from B.
Yeah, definitely committing quite a bit. He only has 5 spears, 7 more in production. But B is already aging up, and that opens you up to having all relics taken from the map. So that's something Louis is going to need to be kind of worried about a little bit. That high trade house, not too juicy, but you know, it will provide some free gold.
It's also going to be safe close to that town center, at least for the time being. And of course, he doesn't have to run a lot to get there. Boar, joining the fun over here, has to be cautious about these villagers. Some of them are heavily damaged, but looks like he is going to be able to take down the boar without losing whales.
Yeah, and the wall's complete on this side. Again, Louis has no idea about this. So this is not something he will notice even for the next maybe 10 minutes.
His vill is trapped. He actually trapped his vill.
Yeah, he's gonna need to build a gate or just let him sit there. So the boar does go down, and B did take this one, which probably puts him at more bounty at this point, because I think he killed 3 boars total. But yeah, Louis is looking to age up as well slowly. Let's check that bounty. Oof, that's pretty. That is not. Oh my god. Okay, that is not good. He is about to be on 500, and Louis doesn't have tier 2.
That is a very big differential, and there's a final board to the north that B could still take. Louis doesn't really have a good access to it. He only has Spearman as well. As you said, B could be at tier 3, and Louis could be stuck at tier 1. That's as bad as it gets for a Roos Mirror.
Yeah, I mean, B is about to get tier 3 because he just killed a deer, right? So he should be at tier 3 now, which is quite a big difference in terms of gathering. Luckily for Louis, at least he has triple town center, so he will have more villagers, but he will most likely be losing at least, I would say, 3 out of the 5 relics. That's kind of, you know, the minimum that B should go for, but it might even be 4 relics versus 1.
It seems likely that B is going to grab 4 here. You see, he's heading to the southern relic, probably the one that's most exposed, even willing to take a fight against the spearman with the knights just to make sure that the warrior monk arrives intact. It's not like this is a bad fight by any means. In fact, he's got the numbers advantage with the knights. But just goes to show how significant that relic is for him. Pushes his opponent all the way back into his base, actually.
Yeah, and these knights are doing a lot of work. I mean, he's causing a lot of idle time. He's actually killing some spears as well. The scouts are going to go down. Oh, it's fine. He's got another one. And he takes the relic on Louis' side first, so it looks like it's going to be 4 versus 1 relics at least, which is... Oh, he might actually go for all 5. Is he
he's going to try and yoink this.
Firing it. Yeah, he is target firing it, so that will not be working out for him, but... Good attempt. And he's actually losing a lot of knights here. I'm not sure about this trade. He is killing spears, but so many knights are going down.
B, he may have overstayed his welcome there. Losing a lot of these precious knights here and not even securing the relics. He does pick off a couple of villagers over here. So there is at least some value, but those are pricey knights that he lost in here.
Yeah, now we see Louis is also making knights. He's also making spearmen. And this looks like it's going to be the good old spearman knight versus archer knight combo. Except we see that B already is going for that veteran archer, but has no blacksmith upgrades.
Yeah, blacksmith upgrades are lacking very badly, but he's only behind by 7 villagers, and he is bringing in relic number 4. Plus, of course, he does have a massive bounty advantage as well. Louis going for Springgold and placements. He's playing a very defensive game here.
Yeah, he might be feeling like, oh, I'm on triple TC, I just gotta hold and delay this, but the game is not looking good for him at all right now. He's getting a lot of upgrades. Like you said, he's getting sprinkled in placements as well. But I just feel like he is slowly losing out on the game by losing the map control.
A lot of skirmishes happening over here. Archer's doing a great job against those spears. Really advantageous fights here for B. If it wasn't for those knights having been picked off by the town center previously, I feel like the value destroyed would be so much more in his favor.
Yeah, and B is just being super, super aggressive. You can kind of see the food is running out slowly for Louis, by the way. And we actually see double berry patch north of Louis' base. And I think either both or one of those is actually Louis. So he kind of had food spawning across the mountain in this one. Kind of like Vortex, actually.
Villagers have to flee here to the north. Luckily for Louis, this wasn't found by B just yet, but he's still taking fights under this town center. Warrior monks now joining just to do some combat healing. Oh, these villagers, they're just so vulnerable right now. B's very close to intercepting them.
Yeah, and this looks really, really rough for Louis right now. I mean, even that triple TC, only 10 villagers ahead at this point. And not to mention, he is down, I mean, soon to be 5 relics. Or sorry, no, Louis managed to secure 1, but he's going to be down 4 relics, sacred sites, and just full map control.
Yeah, momentum heavily in the favor of B now, 38 army against 12, and Louis is just trickling in reinforcements. Those individual units are getting picked off one by one, whereas B, he's barely losing anything in these engagements, and here come the reinforcements. Things will just go from bad to worse here for Louis as he's about to lose out on this position. And with that, probably lose out on a lot of villagers here as well.
Yeah, not looking good at all. B actually has no +1 ranged upgrade, but Louis does not have +2 ranged armor either. So a little bit of a, trade there, I guess. But yeah, Louis is going to definitely lose his town center. He will definitely be losing the high trade house. And if he had like a couple of mangonos or something, and maybe he can go back and hold on, that would be pretty good for him. He's going to try to do some reinforcement harassment kind of damage. More workers are going to fall here, and this is kind of going from bad to worse.
It's just getting very grim for Louis. He is going to lose all the villager lead that he has had. He's down by 3 relics, and I think he's running low on gold inside his base, with essentially all available front gold mines being on the front or walled away from him.
Yeah, that is actually true. And I don't know if he's yet realized that he's about to have this problem, because this gold is about to run out. And yeah, like you said, his second and third gold are the ones on the middle of the map. And then the back golds... wait, how did he even get there? Did he run all the way? Oh, look at where he... he tried to wall up here. He had no idea. Oh, no.
Both players were distracted taking those fights, and both just went for a wooden fortress right next to each other, it seems.
Yeah, and that's probably a surprise for Louis, because you can see he had no idea. He walled off on the top side, and this army is just, I think, way too big.
Yeah, light numbers looking a lot better over here, 23 against 13, and Louis will just tap out of this one. Be confident in this game, beats his opponent to Castle Age, secures the relics, and then just plays off the back of that momentum. But to be honest, we cannot ignore the big differential in the bounty between these two players.
Yeah, it's what I think it was. If it was tier 2 versus tier 3, I think it's all right. Like, that sometimes happens. Obviously, this map has 4 boars. But tier 1 against tier 3, especially that early in the game, right? Like, it wasn't like this was Imperial and it was tier 3 versus tier 1. This was like very early on. And the gathering speeds are quite severe, especially with that amount of workers. But Louis did manage, or did, take a lot of damage early on. The Spearman kind of not working out. And the funny part is we saw him actually open with stables, and he canceled, I think, when he realized my opponent is on 2 TC, and he tried to go into Spearman, but just didn't really work out.
Game number 1 falling into the hands of B over here. Let's take a look at what LoueMT selects as his first map selection going into game number 2. It will be one of his own home maps. We will be heading into Canal. For a second straight mirror, it is going to be the Delhi this time around.
All right. the Delhi's coming out. A bit surprising that not that Delhi is coming out necessarily, but that both players are deciding to go for Delhi on this map. I've actually seen Louis play Delhi on this map a lot, even in Call to Arms when everyone was playing like English or HRE maybe, maybe Ottoman. He still loved playing Delhi, and he actually said had success playing Delhi on this map, which I guess he's just kind of continuing that over. I am not sure if I've seen B play Delhi on Canal, but it's one of those civs that it's. Oh, actually, I did. Never mind. But it's one of those civs that it's definitely possible. You can get, a lot of income, a lot of food income early on. And with Delhi, to be fair, you kind of need the food income the most because all the gold you get usually from sacred sites early on, so it kind of works in that way. And you can also attack with daily fishing ships, which I'm not sure if it's gonna come into play, but sometimes you have these awkward games where players are building docks on the enemy side and building fishing ships to attack the fishes, stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we don't have a countdown on this game just yet, but again, this is a mirror matchup. First one was won by B. What do you think? Which of these two players would be favored by a mirror matchup?
I mean, based on the previous game, I would definitely give it to B, because that was pretty one-sided. It's hard to say what went wrong from like Louis' point of view. Like for my, we can see what went wrong, but I'm not sure if that was like his plan or he messed something up. Um, but like I said, so far I would probably say it's favored for B. But Louis, like I said, did play Delhi a lot on Canal, and even though that wasn't in Empire Wars, that will help him, to just play the Civ and have more experience with it on this map. And this is his home map, right? So this is something that he's probably practiced the most with, maybe feels the most comfortable. But this is also one of those maps where it can get pretty wild, any hybrid map. So maybe B has something to show to Louis right here.
Well, we have 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. Let's take a look at what Twitch chat thinks about the possible outcome of this game. Because guess what? Betting is open with your channel points. Looks like we have an overwhelming amount of people thinking that B is going to win this. You wonder where that comes from, but as you said, B took down his opponent on the previous map as well. Dempy, that is, in a mirror matchup. We have a mirror again. And I feel like, especially for Louis, it's not just about the issue having mirrors played and not being able to use a civ advantage in any of these games, but it's also the fact that I think his playstyle would revolve around some cheeky stuff every once in a while, and B is just so good at countering those, him also being a player that likes to do some crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, B obviously one of his style with Delhi is to go dome into a lot of scholars. Now that is possible on a hybrid map as well, but I would say probably to a lesser extent because you have way more food here to work with. So you can potentially even like skip the feudal battles and go straight to castle. Whereas healing in general is a lot better with smaller amount of units, but obviously the more scholars you get, that kind of increases exponentially. So um, I would assume B is probably going to go for Dome of Faith. I don't see if he goes Dome of Faith on land maps every game. I don't see why you wouldn't do it here because I think Dome of Faith in general is probably better on water maps. On the other side, I think Louis will probably do the same. So I think we're going to have double Dome of Faith.
Double Dome of Faith, it could be. We've seen Dome of Faith in one of the previous sets that we've seen on this map. I think that was Delhi against Mongols, though. This time around, you have two Delhi players, so there's going to be a big race coming in for those sacred sites.
Yeah, we'll kind of see if both players will say, you know what, you take two, I take two, or is one of them going to heavily contest the opponent's sacred sites? Because there's one sacred site in each, like kind of like in front of each player's base, I guess, which is theirs. But then the corner ones are not really split, right? So one player might opt to try to wall off both sacred sites and then get 3 versus 1, which breaking the walls is not hard, but it just takes a lot of time. And if you take your army to break a wall, then the opponent can just attack your base and just kill a bunch of villagers, right? So we might see something like that. We might see the players opting for just I'll take two, you take two. The one thing I'm kind of curious if they're actually going to commit on water is number one, like heavily into trying to take the opponent's side, or if they're going to just fight in feudal or maybe do water into castle rushes. So that's kind of up to them. We might see some towers happening on water. Who knows? These guys are wild.
Well, we just have a minute left to go here. B with a 1-0 lead right now compared to LoueMT. The winner of this series will face off against Lucifron. So I think this might be a good time to take a look at the history of Lucifron against either of these players. Lucifron, he has played numerous times against B. B usually having the upper hand. B was taken down by Lucifron previously in Golden League 2. But before that, most of the series went in the favor of B. He leads 5-3 when it comes to sets, but more importantly, 12-5 in terms of games.
Yeah, and I think Lucifron right now is in a really, really good shape. Obviously, he won the last tournament, so he just continued that. He's going strong. So I think whoever he faces, in my opinion, is probably going to be the favorite, even though B has a winning record against him. But I think that's going to be a very good match.
Yeah, and if you look at LoueMT, they have played twice in 2023, LoueMT and Lucifron. Both of them were won by Lucifron, but interestingly, there was a time back in the past where Louis took out Lucifron. That was one of the Red Bull Vololo for Road to Red Bull Vol Legacy events. That time, LoueMT took out Lucifron 2-1. Remains to be seen which of these two players will make it to the semifinals to face off against Lucy, as we will head to game number 2 to see Canal with the Daily Mirror.
And here we go. Double villagers already from Louis and double villager from B. So we'll see if they decide to go for barracks and they decide to be super cheeky, or they just decide to go for dock, maybe wall their side. There's also, like I said, possibility of placing the dock on the enemy side and kind of starting the war there and not on your side of the water. We'll see what each one of them decide to go for, and there we see double dome coming up.
Double dome that is indeed. Villagers moving out to the middle from LoueMT will be scouted immediately by B. He's got his own villagers approaching though. 2v2, and looks like we'll once again have this setup where the two players are just kind of blocking this river by having those two docks placed right next to each other.
Yeah, and both B scouts are here, and this is what I was talking about. There's a lot of things that can, there's a lot of things that can happen on this map, and this is already kind of being pretty wild. And I think Louis will not even be able to get the dock up right now. That villager is stuck in the sheep over there. Oh my god, it can't move anywhere. I don't know if he's going to even attempt to build a dock or is he just fighting that villager, but that dock looks like it's going up.
Yeah, that one is going to be finished by B. The other one from LoueMT has been stopped. In fact, he also lost a villager as it was heading back home. -1 villager right at the beginning, the dock incomplete. That is looking very disappointing so far for Louis.
Yeah, not a great start. He lost a villager. He might lose another one here. That villager is 100% going down because I think those scouts are just going to kill it. And that's a -2 start right there for him. Now he will be building this dock, but yeah, like I said, it's looking pretty rough already.
Yeah, B might lose a villager of his own as well as he's heading back home. Fishing boat will not really interfere with things, but instead there is already a bug lock queued up for B. Before LoueMT even finishes the dock, second villager will be taken down here by B. He's yet to lose the one that he was fleeing with. There it goes.
Yep. Barely. He almost made it, but not quite. We see more villagers are being pulled. Bagla is shooting at Louis' villagers, and that's going to be third villager. That's going to be a third villager going down, and that's a rough one. I mean, it's just the game hasn't even kind of started, and there's already 2 villager difference is never a good thing. And B will also have double dock actually, so he will be fighting on water, and Louis is definitely already behind.
Yeah, it's actually more than 2 villagers. You see, there was a fishing boat as well coming out from B, and you see about 4 villagers of differential in the eco count right now. So, as you said, it started out as 2 beautiful demo ship, though, and with that, suddenly there is some momentum for Louis on the water.
I'm very surprised that B decided to go for the archer ship second, because, yeah, I mean, maybe he wanted to prevent, you know, the demo ship from hitting his Hulk, but or Springle ship, but not quite. And we see 3 scholars are now coming out. The Sanctity is not yet done, so these guys might just be. I'm not sure what they're doing actually.
Me neither, but there's a Gauzy Raider out there harassing them.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, maybe he wants to put them in the docks. Right, right.
Well, that's a cheeky idea.
Yeah, he still gets the research time reduced, right? But only the ships are also being produced faster, so that's going to be pretty good value. And then now there's 2 fighting ships versus 0. So this probably means that Louis, I would say he has to forfeit. He doesn't know if demo ship will come out of this, which most likely it will. So he's already fighting a losing battle on water, and I think he has to kind of try to figure out something else.
Oh yeah, there is arrow slits, and you will have another demo coming out that should damage that dock, setting it on fire, and then essentially Louis would be pushed off the water. You see now he's focusing on land, making spears, making some Gauzy Raiders. On the other side, Gauzy Raiders are also being mixed in by B, though.
Yeah, and the demo ship comes out, doesn't even kill that Bagla, so... Triple Sacred Sword coming in for Louis. Now, are those spearmen moving to the corners? Can we check those? There's some blue units moving. Yeah, so he's going to try to wall off both corners, which is kind of what I mentioned earlier. Now, if he gets that, he's not going to be... Oh, what is happening here? Where are those villagers going? Oh, I think... Did he A-move the villagers to... And they're trying to chase that Gauzy Raider?
Perhaps. Feels like a misclick out there. On the other side, there was a Scholar that went down. It was heavily damaged by the Wolf on the Sacred side, and then the Gauzy Raider just finished it off. Both players losing some units that move around the map right now.
Yeah, those villagers had shivs out, and now they're going to try to return, but there's going to be 2 villagers going down, equalizing the worker count. So that's pretty good for Louis. And if he manages to get these 3 sacred sites, he's not going to be necessarily in a good position because B will have water, but you know, it's kind of like getting the best out of the really bad situation. So there's at least that going for him, and maybe if he commits fully to land because B has to produce fishing ships, maybe he can try to push his advantage there.
Yeah. You can even see how he's just using tiny walls to wall in the sacred sites. He doesn't commit to the full walls that would kind of just surround this entire cliff, including the neutral market. But he is going to be on 3 sacred sites at the very least. On the other hand, B does have the fishing, but he doesn't really have a response to mass spearmen right now. He's just making his own.
Yeah, and I mean, Louis has, you know, current advantage on land because of those spearmen, like you mentioned. He has 13, so even if they're just fighting spearmen versus spearmen and Gauzies, obviously spearmen are going to have the edge there. He is walling off the bottom side. He is walling off the top side. And one thing to mention, B has not captured his sacred site. So this is not 3 versus 1. It's a 3 versus 0. Or sorry, 2 versus 0, but soon it's going to be 3. So I would say economy is probably somewhat equal right now just because of the sacred sites. Because B is actually mining gold and Louis is not. So Louis has more workers on food and wood.
Yeah, it's interesting how B is almost bailing on all of these sacred sites, at least for the time being. Now he is going heavy into Gauzy Raiders and Spearmen himself. He's up to 10 Scholars, and we know that he loves to use them for combat healing. Remains to be seen if he's going to try that, but finally he breaks out of this stranglehold, and Louis hasn't yet captured a 3rd sacred site to the north, so he isn't getting as much gold as he could have had.
Yeah, and we do see B capturing his first, which is very nice for him. Also, Louis is going into archers, by the way, and we see no archers from B. And that might be problematic because I am not sure if he's actually scouted it. Like, if they end up fighting, Spearman Archer will completely demolish like Archer, or sorry, Spearman plus Gazi Raider kind of unit comp. And B is also not really producing too many units. Like we see 2 Spearmen in queue, no Gazi Raiders. He doesn't have any Archers anywhere near in production. So he might get caught off guard right here with just mass amount of army coming out from Louis.
Yeah, this Bugla is coming in clutch here, spotting the archers advancing, not just 1 or 2 archers, but quite a few of them. Now B knows fully well that there is a group of archers coming his way, and his eco is now a lot better, at least when it comes to the nominal villager count. He's just been booming behind this, but he's yet to answer those archers.
Yeah, and I don't know if Louis A moved there, and that's why the units are fighting, but he's trying to kind of take down this dock. Maybe even researching siege engineering and just building a ram would be a good idea here, because his land army is stronger, but just letting this fish economy go on is going to be really, really rough. That's 16 fishing ships on the water, which is just so much eco.
Yeah, and once this gate gets taken down, B is going to decap one of those sacred sites, might even grab it for himself. Whoop. What is he up to?
Maybe not.
Oh, he's gonna try and wall this first. Wait, no, what's the
I
plan
think
here?
he might have just moved command and all his units right there. Or something happened, because the Scholar is also leaving, right? So I think that's probably a little bit of a misclick. He's actually walling off the bottom side, but it's not even his yet. And these archers are going to be able to contest these ships. And now this is a point where, as B, you either have to bring in your land army and fight, or you have to build more fighting ships to try to fight this. And so far, he's doing a good job repairing, but that ship will be going down. I'd love if Louis brought his scholars to actually heal this, because he's got 8 of them, and they're not doing anything right now.
Yeah, this is dangerous for Louis, though. Like, he didn't manage to sink all but one of the ships. And to be honest, he has taken a lot of damage on an army. He needs to be cautious engaging those ships, because B did a great job healing them.
Yeah, not much lost, and like you said, not only Louis lost a few units, but he also got damage on quite a few of those. So, I gotta be careful. But I think for Louis, like, he has to do something, right? Because this fishing eco is not like few fishing boats. This is 20 right now, so he needs to either push into the 3D base right now, or he has to kill the water, and that can be achieved by either building, rams and destroying the docks, or just committing to something, because the longer this game goes, the food economy for Louis is going to get worse.
Side note worth adding is that Louis stopped researching blacksmith upgrades after the initial 2. B already has all 4 of them.
Yeah, that is definitely a misclick, or I guess he did not click at all. It's the opposite of misclick. He did not click. So yeah, that's pretty rough for him. Luckily, melee upgrades, not the biggest deal, but obviously every single upgrade counts. So that might cost him in this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, B now sitting on a sacred site on his own against 3 from a LoueMT. B does have the population lead by a solid 20. This is a good raid from Louis, though not many Gazi Raiders out here for B. It looks like Louis isn't going to engage. It's actually just 2 Gazi Raiders and 2 scouts, from B at least.
Yeah, and Louis is gonna try to attempt to snipe some fishing ships over here, maybe. And those fishing ships can fire back. Now, they don't do a lot of damage, but, there's about 10, 12 of them, so they will contribute to this fight a little bit. And those deli fishing ships, by the way, they got more health, so they're a lot harder to kill than normal fishing ships.
In comes the Bugla as well, trying to equal this out. And I don't know about you, Beasty, but I feel like this is a little wasteful here for Louis. He hasn't accomplished much with this army, but he's kind of getting picked apart, just running into a trap with these archers setting up for B. And suddenly this army is getting close to being cleaned up.
Yeah, and one thing I'm a bit surprised from both sides, the scholars are not getting pulled at all. B is up to 15 scholars, but I'm not even sure where they are at, because that is like a massive amount of scholars to be just chilling somewhere. And I think it's definitely time for both of them to just pull the scholars and kind of just go for it.
Yeah, B almost has double the army now. Some of that, of course, are combat ships, but we're looking at 18 archers for him as compared to 24 from Louis. But he also has 13 Gazi Raiders against 6.
Yeah, this feels like Louis, and the GG gets called. This feels like Louis genuinely just did not maybe know what to do and where to go after the opening. I don't know if he had that happen to him before in like a Delhi mirror, because again, Delhi's not the most popular sim here, but it is played. But that was a situation where you didn't get to build your dock, and then the opponent aged up first. The Bagla came out, he lost the fishing, and you could kind of see him go back and forth and not really do any decisive moves. Like I said, maybe if he went for siege engineering, build rams. Like if you destroy the docks, you don't have to kill the fishing ships. If they don't have a dock, they can't really fish. But he kind of just moved around, tried to do some harassment, which didn't end up doing too much, and in the end, not managing to kill the water eco.
Now B is up 2-0 here, 1 game away from securing his spot in the semifinals. It definitely doesn't seem like these mirror matchups suit Louis over here, so remains to be seen what the Civ matchup is going into game number 3. It looks like for the first time we will have a non-mirror matchup. Kabasan it is, the last home map for LoueMT. Even if he wins this game, he's going to have to play 2 consecutive games on the opponent's home maps. Chinese versus Abbasids, though, the highest win rate civilization in the tournament in the hands of Louis.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, to answer your question from earlier, Beast seems definitely favored in the mirror matches. So this is his home map. This is not a mirror match. So if there's any map that Louis should quote unquote take this, it's probably this one. And considering this is a very good civ of his, I think he has a pretty good shot. He will be going against Abbasid, which is a very popular civ in Empire Wars. I feel like pretty much everyone is playing it. Just like in regular mode, people are playing Abbasid. It's a very standard civ. So we'll see what Louis can do in this one. And if he manages to this one, like I said, it doesn't mean that the other maps, Dry Arabian Basin, are just losses because they're not his home maps. He's probably very familiar with both of those maps, so I think that's more of an probably even playing field in terms of practice and how familiar players are with those maps.
So, Kawasan it is. We've seen Abbasids being played on this map before, not so much for Chinese. At least not today. Now, one of the issues for Abbasids on this map is that once they commit a lot to water, if they get beaten to Castle Age, that could be nasty. And I feel like that could be an intriguing way for Louis to play this. If he tries to play a fast castle here with palace guards, that could be difficult for B to defend, I feel.
Yeah, so China can do, a couple of different things. Obviously, they should have faster age up, not only because, Abbasid cannot speed up their age up, but also China builds faster, so he can actually age up to feudal a lot quicker, maybe do something with that on water. But also, like you said, if they both take each pond and they're just kind of chilling, or they both have water eco, it's very easy for China to just boom up to castle and just spam palace guards forever. Maybe get arrow slits on the docks or something like that, and just kind of ignore water and continue from there. There's also been, and Louis is one of the players that sometimes opens up with barracks with Chinese in starter maps, and this is something that's been very popular in Empire Wars, where even on Dry Arabia, we've seen people open up barracks and then just use supervise to get the spearmen out super quickly. So it's one of those where I think B has a more standard approach to this, which is get a couple of docks, maybe get arrow slits. It's very easy for Abbasid to get arrow slits because their docks are cheaper, their workers are not building landmarks. And then from then on, Abbasid can, go multiple TCs. They can also go culture wing, to be fair, and maybe into military wing. But I do think that Louis is going to be in charge, as in what he's going to do and what B is going to react to.
Well, we have 2 minutes left to go. We've talked about the matchups coming up for this weekend. Well, no more matchups for this weekend. This is the final quarterfinals, but next weekend, of course, we'll have the semifinals on Saturday, and then Sunday we will have the grand finals preceded by the third place match. That's, of course, not the last EGC event of the year. We have the big finale of the fall season coming up with the new DLC civilizations, all the elite players, How do you feel about that? I think this might be a good time to have a bit of an insight from a player perspective on that.
I mean, I'm super excited for it. I think the new civs are very fun to play. I think they're very, very unique. And, in the obviously last year we had Malians and Ottomans coming in, and people were like, "Oh, are people going to play Malians? Are people going to play Ottomans?" And we actually saw quite a bit of Ottoman, not so much Malian. But I do think that this time around, because we also have variant civs that are a little bit, like their original civs, I think we will see more of the new civs in the new tournament, which is something I'm very excited about. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting play styles. I think it's gonna people are gonna have unique styles. The options for landmarks and play styles are very unique. So I'm kind of excited to see everyone kind of bringing their own thing to the tournament and see who figures out the civs the most and the best, I guess.
All right, but before that, we have a lot more to get through. Empires at War, last quarterfinals, 2-0 lead for B. He has been clean in this tournament. In fact, when you look at when you look at the win-loss ratio that he has had, he's third in the entire tournament with 12 wins and 3 losses. And that was actually before the start of this series. He would be 14-3 right now. Behind the big two, Lucifer and Marine Lord, who hasn't yet dropped the game, he's the third, I guess, most successful player in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that was the top four, right? I mean, yeah, B was top four, Marine Lord, Lucifer, so those guys, um, definitely kind of the first people who you expect, I think, to do well in this tournament. And so far, even though it's a different game mode, they're still showing up. They're still dominating. So it kind of gets exciting when eventually these players end up meeting each other to see who's going to actually lose the first game.
Yeah, it is B with the Abbasid dynasty in orange, and on the other side, LoueMT is going to have the Chinese in blue. B opting to go up with the culture wing, and it's going to be an academy coming up from Louis. So no early forward Barbican shenanigans so far from him.
Yeah, and only aging up with 2, so not looking to do anything super crazy. Just slow age up, and the culture wing kind of indicates potential fast castle. But sometimes even with culture wing on hybrid maps, you don't necessarily want to rush castle. Maybe you just want to get cheaper upgrades, because economic wing is not really needed. You're not going to go for trade wing. You could go military wing, but the fighting will most likely be happening on the water. So are you going to get much from military wing kind of thing? So I think culture wing makes the most sense here. And we do see B not only making a dock, he's making double dock on each lake right now.
Double docks coming in here, obviously. Discount on that Abbasid dock is something that's so beneficial for this. He's not on stone yet, so he won't have emplacements, though. At least not early feudal.
I think we do see stone coming up. I see some orange right there.
Oh yeah, true. He just hasn't... Yeah, he's just not moving to stone.
Yeah, and Culture Wing, of course, also reduces the upgrade on the arrow slits for the docks, so that makes it a lot more affordable, especially if you're going to go for 2, 3, or 4 emplacements. It makes it a lot cheaper.
Yeah, looks like war junks and junks will be added by LoueMT over here. B does not have a single arrow emplacement just yet. He's going for his own war junks, or buglaws actually. Looks like Louis is also mining some stone, so we could see emplacements coming in from him as well.
Yeah, and already some pressure from Louis on this side. Running that scout a little bit in the TC, but it's going to be all right. And already that demo. Oh, that is a big hit. And that is a hit that did not need to happen for Louis. Like, if he just had his Springle ship a bit further back, that would not be the hit. And B gets a really efficient trade right here.
Oh, that is just catastrophic here for Louis, losing 2 of his combat ships here off the back of that demo, and the Bugla stays alive for the time being. Demo cannot find an angle on it. Now there is a Dow out as well. That single demo was so impactful here for B. Essentially secured the pawn in itself.
Oh, and there's an aeroship coming out, and that's not what you want here. There's an aeroship with no other support, so yeah, these trades are going really, really bad so far for Louis.
Yeah, already looking at 990 value destroyed by B, 250 on the other side, actually less than that. It's looking so grim, and now the arrow slits are coming in for B as well. Louis is finding himself in a pretty underwhelming position here when his opponent does have match point.
Yeah, I think Louis got arrow slits on one of the docks. I think it's probably the top one, because these ones are not shooting. Yeah, he got arrow slits on that dock, so he might... Like, maybe the time is to just give up the bottom one and just say, like, okay, I got arrow slits here, let me try to do something here. But this is actually the pond where he only has one dock, so... a little bit unfortunate because he did commit to the bottom one. He does have 2 Springle ships, but if a demo comes out, that is going to be a destruction. And yep, I think we're about to see it.
Yeah, demo now moving in here. It is not picked off quick enough. It's going to sink at least one of these war chunks, and the other ones are heavily damaged off the back of those arrow slits, and of course the Buglas as well. Buglas should be able to finish the job here.
Yeah, Louis is trying to micro back, but his Springle ship is dying to Buglas. Now, both players have one dock with arrow slits here, so that kind of makes it a little bit awkward for both players to try and micro here. But B has the water advantage still. He's got 4 ships against 2, and I think that demo is looking pretty good to snipe that Springle ship.
It's kind of hiding behind the Buglas up until now. Moves in, finishes off the rest of Louis' fleet. And Louis just not having any naval presence once again on this spawn. B sitting at 5 combat ships, and Louis just steps out of this one. Absolute destruction here by B, finishing this series with a very quick strike here in game number 3. Dominant all around, but this one was just the icing on the cake.